Recording started.
Welcome to Statistics. I wanted to take a little bit of time to walk you through how to access things in the new Blackboard setup. Many of you have used Blackboard in other courses, but this is the first time for the math department to go onto Blackboard. It's been a challenge. The faculty has had a challenge with it, and I'm assuming the students probably will have similar challenges. But my goal is to try and help you walk through that and not get too stressed. Okay, statistics is a hard class. I'm sure you've heard horror stories about it over the years, but we're going to make it through. So, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of focus, a lot of detail, but you can do this. So here is the welcome page. When you first log into bb.strayer.edu, which I will type right over here in the chat, bb.strayer.edu is the course access page. You also can access it by icampus.strayer.edu. Now, the faculty will access it by the bb.strayer.edu. I do not know for sure that students can access it that way, but I know there's a link on iCampus. So obviously, to have found this, you probably already have been there. This is the welcome page. Mine, I have several classes, so I have to always scroll down to find things. Your announcements for all of your courses will show up right here in the My Announcements page. So look there, and I'm going to try and delete announcements that can close down after a couple of weeks so that you don't get this too cluttered. Our course is MAT300, Section 21. The VA stands for Virginia. 016 is the campus. The term is 1116. And 001, I don't know what that means, but this is statistics. So you'll click on whatever course you want to go into. And the first thing that you see is your announcements. You can click on the announcement to open it, and then that opens all of your announcements. Over on the side, there's a place that you can minimize them also, although I don't have a scroll bar on here. I'm going to try to move this over. I know that every time I move my windows, or, oops, I don't know why. Every time I move my windows around, it scrolls funny. We do not have a minimize. But here are things that you need to see. Under the Student Center, that's just my announcements, and I'll put those up whenever I feel like there's something I want you to know. So keep track of what you've read and what you haven't. Professor information. It's pretty self-explanatory. The above link will display, oh dear, something happened to my professor information. Oh, I will get that in there right away. Going back to the Student Center, I do not know how to go backwards through this. Your class information. The first thing that you see is your due dates. And I have just typed this up. These are your due dates for this quarter. Week 1 starts on June 27th till July 3rd. All of our weeks end on Sunday at midnight, and I think that's Eastern time. Okay, I know MyStatLab works in Eastern time. I think Blackboard works in Eastern time as well. Just especially this week, don't put things off to the very last minute and submit it, and then check once you submit something, check the time stamp that gets on it and compare it to your time zone, and just check and see exactly how does that work, because I don't know that yet. Okay, it takes me a little bit of time to figure out these things. So each week you have homework, you have a quiz, there's a discussion. Now on the discussion threads, the pre-packaged discussions, to be perfectly honest, I don't like some of them. I don't feel like they really help you apply what we're learning, so I've added extra discussion threads. However, with the course guide model that Strayer uses, I'm not allowed to change anything. So I've added extra credit. So you'll get bonus points for one of the threads. Sometimes the bonus points is for the new one I added, and sometimes it's for the original, and I'm making the one I added required. So theoretically I'll have some information about your discussion. The M&M project is a project that you'll work on a little bit at a time all the way through the quarter. There are 6 parts to it. And note, all week 1 items will have an automatic extension till July 10th, which is the 2nd week. All of week 1 has a full 2 weeks to do. because of the whole issues about getting into your materials. So that continues on down through the whole quarter, and I see that week 4 didn't format correctly. And this is the first time I've actually looked at it as a student, so I'm finding some errors in it myself. Anyways, it'll all be fixed. So then we have frequently asked questions. This is huge. Your frequently asked questions are things like how to get your access code. If it didn't come in an email, you don't have it yet, okay? I know that the book is packaged with a card that says your book will be mailed to you. That is not true, okay? Your textbook, your access code, I'm typing code, will be emailed to you as soon as you order your book. It often goes to junk mail, so be careful about that. But here's the information about how to track it down. You do not have to rebuy the code. It should last as long as you're retaking stats at Strayer. Then you should be able to continue using your original code. If not, call the bookstore, or you can call the Blackboard help desk, and they should be able to help you. If StatLab, when you type your code in, if it asks for a course ID, they gave you the wrong kind of code. Okay? There are 2 types of code. Ours is ours used to be an integrated course. It's not integrated now. Yeah, it is. It's still integrated. So you should be having the HSE beginning letters of the code. There is another set of codes that are WSC that were for Course Compass when you took Math 090 or Math 105. Those codes are for a class where you type in coursecompass.com, and that won't work for this one. So you have to get them to exchange it for you. Sometimes they don't have a clue. You have to. This little blurb right here hopefully helps them to understand what you need, because I talked to the director of MBS Direct, and she told me this was how to do it. And sometimes though, when you call in, the people don't know, so you have to kind of, this is what I have. Tell me what to do. And so escalate it up if you need to. But I haven't really had any trouble. Once people call in and give them that information, they pretty much come through with it. Here's your technical problems. Graphing calculator. You do not need a graphing calculator, just a scientific calculator. I recommend you get familiar with Excel. There's also a program in our course called StatCrunch. StatCrunch is my new best friend because it makes a lot of these calculations very, very quick and easy. Okay? Your time is going to be your worst enemy in this class because it just takes a ton of time and you'll run out because you have another life. Okay? You have children, you have jobs, you have dinner to cook, you have things that you've got to do, and you will find yourself spending way more time on this class than you thought. If you will break down and use StatCrunch. A lot of people say, I want to do it all by hand. Yeah, I understand that philosophy, but it's just a time issue. And if you were in the field, you would have some kind of a specialized program. You would have SASS, so you would have Minitab, or another statistics program to use. You would not actually be doing these calculations by hand. So this is my plug for StatCrunch. I would highly recommend it. And it is a link on all of your assignments, quizzes, and tests. Now the graphing calculator, I don't personally own one. Okay, so there are manuals. There's all this information about how to get help with your graphing calculator, but I don't actually have one. So if you say, how do I do this on the graphing calculator, I'll refer you to a document, because I can't say do this and then do that and do this because I don't have one. Anyway, StatLab, we keep your best attempt on your StatLab grades. All of your homework, quizzes, and exams are in StatLab. However, if you've taken this course before, you're used to having the grade updated immediately, but that doesn't happen anymore. Right now, because of the newness of Blackboard, they have not gotten the integration working, and so I have to manually enter the grades. And especially since you're allowed to redo your homework, quizzes as many times as you want, then it's not going to do me any good to try and update the grades along the way, because it'll just get changed constantly. So on Mondays, I'll be updating Blackboard. So you'll have to keep a little more track of, have you improved a grade in between, where do you stand on your grades, and to be able to keep up. I'm sorry that it's not integrated anymore. We're very spoiled in the fact that we used to know all the time. But just compare your grades every so often to make sure that your highest grade got posted. You know how the mistakes happen. But since, here's my little disclaimer, you're the one with the most at stake. Please keep track. Okay? I'm going to do my best, but I'm human. So just see. Now sometimes people go into the StatLab and feel like StatLab has marked their answer wrong incorrectly. And that has happened in the past, and I research it and I find that indeed StatLab has not accepted a correct answer. So you send me an Ask My Instructor email from the class, and from the MyStatLab, and then that'll give me a link to the problem. I can see what you put in, what StatLab said it was, what the problem was. I can work it out. And if I find that that's true, then I can submit it to Pearson, which is the publisher. And then they get back to me pretty quickly and say, well, we've reevaluated this question and we agree. And almost always they agree, because I research them pretty carefully. And then they fix it. And then the next semester doesn't have a problem. Okay, so if you think StatLab has made a mistake and marked the answer wrong incorrectly, let me know, please. When our assignments, how do I review my work? I'll show you that in a little bit. Click on Assignment Review once you're in StatLab. Assignments are due all in Eastern. Okay, and quizzes and exams do indeed close at midnight. And suddenly you're working along, and kaboom, it's gone. So just be very careful about that. And it closes where it is. It does save your answers that you have in it so far, but you'll be just very surprised. Okay, your late policy, please, especially these M&M projects, don't send them to me late. It's very hard to keep up with. I have several different classes to work with, and when people are sending me the wrong assignments and get completely behind, I'm not going to accept them more than 7 days late. So if I give you permission, please ask for permission to submit things late, because it's a real pain to me to have to grade things late. So I want to know who I'm expecting it from. I want to have give them permission for it, and I just won't grade them if I didn't even know you were going to turn it in late. Now here's the deal. This is becoming a standardized requirement. A late assignment will lose 5% of its value for every day that it is late, up to a maximum of 35% of its value. After 1 week, the assignment will not be accepted and will assign 0 points. Okay, and I will get all papers graded within 1 week of the due date. That's my contract shows 1 week. I try real hard to get them done earlier. I'm not teaching as many courses this quarter as I have in the past, and so I'll be a little bit better about it. So just don't send me a lot of emails saying, why isn't my stuff graded? Wait for 7 days, please. On Monday of the next week, after 7 days have passed, at that point something's wrong, and if something didn't get graded. Okay, your discussion policy, all graded discussion threads must be completed during the week assigned. The deadlines, it's interactive. You've got to get it done. So I want them to be well written. I'm just amazed at what people post sometimes. Take the time to write well, because that's the majority of what I grade in a discussion post. Keep your comments on the discussion threads. If you have complaints and things you want to talk about the course, put those into the private questions or the Ask the Professor form, not the weekly threads. And then here's the deal about one of them is an application, and the discussion ones are the ones the school put in. Don't tell anybody, but I don't like them very well. So they'll be the bonus points. But on each one it says which is which, because I have to go back and forth sometimes. All right, so that's your frequently asked questions and your information from the Student Center. No, there's more. Actually, let me see if I can get it to turn. Okay, after class information, here's your course guide. The course guide is it for this class. That is the thing that we have to go by. So if there's ever a discrepancy between what I said and what the course guide said, the course guide wins. So always make sure you have read it, okay? And on this M&M project, there's lots of helpful information in the course guide about it, so read the thing. I know it's 22 pages long, but read it. Ask the professor, click on this one if you want to send me a message. This one is available to everybody. Everybody can see anything that gets put in there. So don't ask about your grades. Don't tell me that your dog died unless you want everybody to know that. Okay. Now then, the private questions for the professor are the ones where you want to beg me to have an extension, or you tell me all your life's woes and how come you deserve to have whatever. Okay. The private questions are things that you don't want the whole class to see, but ask the professor are the ones that other people could benefit from the answer to that question. E-chapters, the book of problems is extra. The elementary statistics is the book we use. The course documents, M&M Unwrapped, Sample M&M Part 2, M&M Input, and M&M Project Report. M&M Input is the one you need first. That is the first week's M&M project information. It is listed, that it's explained for you under the M&M project. So then going to week 1, see all you have available is week 1 so far. You have lesson objectives and all this stuff, and some people like to read those, but to me it's just things I don't even know what it means. There's a checklist. Here are all the different things that are going to be required. The pre-test, I don't find those to be that helpful. Some people do. Some people find it helpful. I don't. They are not graded. You do not have to do them. There's your reading assignments. It tells you what is in this chapter. Chapter 1 has all, week 1 has all of chapter 1 and 2 sections of chapter 2. Forgive my phone ringing in the background, I'm ignoring it. Okay. Then we have the lecture, then you have homework, discussion, and quiz. Then down below all that in red, we have the actual link. So you can click here, access the lectures. Then you have the lectures in video, where a guy stands there and talks to you. That is not me. You'll notice that when you see him. When you click on the link for week 1 homework, quizzes, and reading assignment, that takes you to the MyStatLab. And it should take you on through, but see it stopped briefly on the MyLabs Plus bridge. If you get stuck there, click on it. It'll take you on into StatLab. This is where you will, the first time, you will enter your access code. Okay? So this actually looks to me like it takes you back to the old eCollege site. To me this looks exactly like the old eCollege site. And on the side we have the StatLab information. So if you click on week 1, that gives you the reading assignment. If you wanted to use it all electronically, you can see your textbook right here. Now you can't access these electronic reading assignments until you have bought your code. You can't get into the StatLab portion until you bought your code. That gives you access to all the electronic resources. So you want to get your code right away. That's the most important thing. Since the book is included in the StatLab, the code is actually the majority of the cost of a new book. If you buy a new book, it's a frightfully expensive thing, but the code is at least half of it, to 3/4 of it. Okay. You can buy a code when you first try to access StatLab. When you first try to access your homework and reading assignments and all, you can buy your code then. And it costs quite a bit less than if you buy it through the bookstore. Through the bookstore you can use a voucher, but if you can use a credit card, then you can go, and it's quite a bit cheaper, I understand. You save about $40 or $50, maybe as much as $40 or $50 by buying it that way. Okay, you have more video lectures. I don't know if these are the same ones, but when you go into homework, then we have the link to go into the actual StatLab homework. Now when you're doing homework, let me enlarge this a little bit. If you can't see my whole windows, then just enlarge your window that you're looking at. See here, it came up with one that says click to launch. That other window that I had earlier also was requiring me to click on it, but this time it went through, so maybe once you've done it one time, it'll let you go in. Today's the first day of the course, so I haven't been into this from this view yet either. Okay. I know what happened there. Want to do homework? Oh, here it is. Let me go that way. So now, once you click through all those things, you finally get a page that looks like this. You can view your homework, quizzes, and tests, and we don't really use the units. If you want to go back, you can open up everything that's available to you. I do not open work ahead because it just messes people up. If you need work opened ahead because you're going out of town, you want to get something done early, just let me know, and I will be glad to do that for you. Okay, so your homework is your homework. It's very cool. I like homework. The reason you pay so much for this code is because if you go into one of these problems, week 1 is not quite so much, because it's more reading and understanding terms and what you're going to look at and such. But once you click into it, if I can get this to load, you will get buttons along the side with either help me solve this or ask an example or both. You'll get a textbook link. You'll get a StatCrunch link. A button you can click to ask your instructor, which sends me a link to the problem, and then you can say what you're having trouble with and I can reply to that. And a print. If you try to print, you can click on that and it'll come up and ask you, do you want to print just this problem or the entire assignment? So then you can make that choice and print it out. However, print it out, but it's likely to change the numbers. So if I make an answer and I don't like it, oh look at it, it only gave me one try. That's weird. If I answer something wrong, when I go on to the next problem, it puts a little check mark, and this one has a check mark and an X. I got part right, part wrong. If I want to fix that later, I can go back and click on that problem again, ask for a similar exercise, click my answer, check it, and now I get it correct. So along the way, I'll have various opportunities for you to improve things, and the way you do that is by just reworking the problem, ask for a similar exercise here at the bottom, and then it will replace the X with a check mark, and now you have credit for it. You can go back into homework anytime you want to through the whole course and improve those grades. Each homework assignment is 2% of your grade. These are worth getting up to 100% apiece. Okay, there are 10 of them. That's 20% of your grade if you have 100 on each homework. Your quizzes are only worth 1%. Homework is twice as valuable as a quiz, and you can rework them till they're right. Okay? Now the difference with that and the quiz is once you open a quiz, you can take unlimited attempts within that week. Quizzes close. Okay? And when you go to take the quiz, you have to do the whole thing at once. You have to, you'll take your, why don't I have a quiz? Uh-oh. This isn't right. Uh-oh, gotta fix this. Once I take my quiz, I'm ready to start. I have to do that, this is a pretest, this is not the quiz. I have to do that all in one session, okay? And I don't get a grade for it until I've submitted the whole thing. So when I click next on this one, it just goes to the next problem. Okay, it doesn't tell me whether I got it right or wrong. I have to do all the problems before I get the grade for it. And if I want to fix that grade, I have to do the whole thing again. So that's why I like homework so well. I do all the homework and then the test, the quiz. Quizzes are harder because you can't find out whether you got them right immediately, but you can review them as much as you want. So here on the blue, under Assignment Review, you can see everything that you've taken in the StatLab gradebook. And in the gradebook, it will show me all the things that I have worked so far, which is the very beginning of the quarter. I haven't worked anything. It shows that I was incomplete on my attempt on the pretest, and that my homework, I got 1 out of 24 correct, which is 4.2%, and I spent 2 whole minutes on it. You know, surprisingly, I found students complaining about how hard this class is, and I go into their homework and I see they've spent 2 minutes on a homework assignment, and now I say, you really didn't spend any effort on this. So I can see exactly what you do. Then there's a study plan. The study plan is very cool. Every time you take a quiz or a test, it updates the study plan and tells you what you need to focus on. So each chapter has different sections. Since I really haven't worked anything, it doesn't have any information put into it yet for me. But here's extra practice. Every single problem contained within MyStatLab appears in the study plan. And you can use that to get extra practice on things and to just test yourself and see what you're doing. Okay? The multimedia library is actually quite helpful. It has you can choose your chapter. It has the textbook, it has StatCrunch, it has chapter test prep videos that can be very helpful. It has PowerPoint, it has applets, which are little programs that do something interesting in stats, and it has more video lectures. Okay, these are very helpful. These PowerPoints is a different PowerPoint from your lecture, so some people like to look at it and get a different view, and it helps them understand more. Tools for Success is also very helpful. If you're having trouble entering answers in StatCrunch, you click on this. There is tutoring. There's just course information. The things that I find to be most helpful are the here's a link for StatCrunch right here. Here's the graphing calculator tutorial. All the information about graphing calculators. If that's how you choose to do your work, you have your references right here. The Excel manual, it's in Excel 2003. However, most of the things transfer. It's very helpful. Minitab, very few people at this level will have access to Minitab. If you do, here's the manual. I don't know how to use it. I have never used Minitab myself. Okay, the TI-83 manual and key formulas and tables, that's a useful document right there. Okay, there's more e-chapters over here. There's MSL instructor tools. See this asterisk? That means it's mine, it's not yours. That's how I get in to adjust all of your work in StatLab. So here's all the weekly tabs. You won't see them. Well, yeah, you can see them. I don't know if you can see all the tabs yet. But there is your StatLab stuff. Here's how you access your discussion. The discussion has 2 threads. And the first thing in it is a bonus, the class introductions. You just click on it, and I see that some students have answered. So these people are on their way to getting their bonus, but they have to reply to some other students as well. So then I can go through and I actually grade these. Okay. So I think, oh no, one more thing. Back to week 1. There's one more thing here. Is at the bottom. The M&M project. The M&M project part 1 is a Word document. Make sure you have Microsoft Office installed on the computer where you want to open it. And it's asking me for access words and everything. All the way through the M&M project, there will be very detailed information given for you. It will tell you exactly what to do. If you'll follow the information, you won't have any trouble. Many people don't want to read, though. I don't know what the deal is. I also don't know why I can't find it. Here we go. Oh, I know why I can't find it. It's on my other whole screen. There it is. I got an extra monitor attached that was turned off. So here is the M&M project, and you will read it carefully. Some people have trouble with the big paragraphs and trying to figure out what is really required. So you might, make paragraphs out of it. If you're having trouble keeping track of what it's asking you to do, or you might make bullets. Some people have wanted to turn this into bullets, and that might help you, especially for week 2. The instructions are very detailed, so that's just a trick you might use. If you find that the way that it's written, people these days are so used to just short and simple instructions and bulleted little tidbits of information like Twitter, so you might find that helpful. Otherwise, I think that I have very quickly run through everything for you. Along the top you have tutoring. The tutoring is done through Smart Thinking, and you can it is actually available for all of your classes. There is a math tutoring, and we have it up to statistics, okay, that it just gives instructions on how to do that. Okay, you can go to the campus, all the information for tutoring. The Resource Center, we won't use that as much in this class, but some of your writing classes will. So here is all the information. Plagiarism. I do check plagiarism. Use the correct styles for things, and don't take other people's words. The help, it actually was helpful. Now mine comes up with a bunch of instructor help, but yours probably comes up with a bunch of student help. And there's BlackBoard tutorials if you don't know how to do something, frequently asked questions, and so on and so forth. As always,
hi, and welcome to Strayer University's online course environment. In the next few minutes, you'll discover everything you need to know to take your online course.
First off, I want you to hush, and then I want you to go away. Okay? So that's all the things that I wanted to go over today. And now I have talked for a very long time, and so I will bid you adieu. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help. I'm going to post this in my instructor information, but Strayer.edu. Okay, that's me. So, been lovely. Keep going.